Okay, are you ready to have some fun? I am. First of all, this is a potato noodle soup. And yes, I have heard that you're not supposed to mix noodles and potatoes in a soup. But you know what I think? I think cooking is perhaps the last true area for creativity. And since no one can give me the logical reason, I'm going to say let's make some noodle and potato soup. Let's do it right now. As you know, I love butter, so let's melt some real butter in the frying pan. Actually, it's not a frying pan, it's a big soup pot. Next, I cut up some onions, which I'm going to use, of course, you know that, right? And to the onions, I add some thyme. Now, I happen to like thyme. So, to my onions, I added some thyme. You see how simple that is so far? It is simple. Trust me, this is probably the simplest soup you'll ever make. So, into the pot goes my onions and thyme. Notice that I'm not adding any salt. And I'm going to show you why I don't do that a little later. In the meantime, now this is the first of my secrets. Cut up some potatoes. Now, if you live in an area where they have other tubes, such as yam, use that instead. On the potatoes, I add some flour, just like that. And then I put the potatoes with the flour added in a bag and I shake it up really well. Okay? When I get done doing that, then, of course, I add the floured potato in with the onions and with the thyme. Notice that? Now here's a good place to add whatever you like. Whatever it is you like. I happen to like scallion and I happen to like bell peppers. So I will add these sort of things to my soup. And I also happen to like carrots. Notice the carrots, the bell pepper, the onions, they're all in the soup. Yep. While that is cooking, let me ask you something. Do you have a very good friend that would come to bat for you no matter what? Well, I thought I did too, and I tested this friend, and I said to him, why don't you lend me some money? I really need some money. He said, sure I will. If you will, give me the title to your car. That's when I knew he was not really a good friend. Anyway, to my soup mixture, I add some boiling water. Notice that? And you got to stir this often because remember there's flour on your potatoes, so you don't want it to stick to the bottom. Green onions, of course, I like, so I added that. Now, if you have an exotic vegetable that you like, now is a good time to add that. Here, this is a chocho. In Jamaica, it's called a chocho. Chayote. And this is really a nice vegetable. So I peeled this, cut it up, and I also added this to my soup, just like that. Okay, here is my other little secret to my soup. This is called Grace. It's a flavored soup mix. If you have a store in your neighborhood, then you should support that store and buy it from the store. If you don't, just go online to grace.com and you can order it online. But I'll bet you'll probably pay less at your local ethnic store, Caribbean store. Okay, so everything goes in the pot, including the soup mixture. Everything goes in now. And I mix it really, really well. From this point on, it's a piece of cake. It really is. A piece of cake. Mix it well. Put your soup on simmer. Add some more water, as much of water as you want. Still, notice, still no salt, right? Because all that vegetables and everything there will now sit and simmer until everything is done. And quite frankly, your soup is finished. Notice how thick your soup is? Well, that thickness. Oh, one more thing. Yeah, there it is. Now that's the Scotch bonnet pepper. What you want to do is don't break it, don't cut it. Just lay it on top of your soup and then put the lid on for about 20 minutes or so, and then remove it before serving your soup, because that baby is hot. By the way, you notice how thick that soup is? That's because of the flour you added to the potato earlier. Notice that? Isn't that a nice thick soup? And let me tell you something. This is when you add your salt or whatever seasoning you want, because if your soup is too salty, you can't take the salt out. But if you need salt, just sprinkle a little on top. And there you have it, my noodles and potato soup. That was easy, wasn't it? Told you it would be.